Hello guys, welcome back to the channel. My name is Trouble and today I'm going to be doing a review of JOJOLands chapter 20. The chapter just came out. It comes back with a big hook. That's the best way I describe it, is a hook after the 2 month hiatus. I'm pretty intrigued to see where it goes after this chapter. Um, I want to follow the story. That's what I'm getting. I'm getting into it. Like JOJOLands, it started out slow. It started out very slow, but now we're getting into that Araki good, right? Araki goodness, right? So spoiler alert going into the chapter. Um, yeah, let's just jump right on it. So the chapter picks up exactly where we left off with Jodio running into the bathroom in order to get away from Bobby Jean, and everybody's doing the same thing. Everybody is trying to kill everybody, and also. And also, one of the colony stand, that girl's bad groove, turns out also Jodio is also infected by one of those, right? So Jodio is in the bathroom and Bobby Jean comes into the bathroom and Bobby Jean is thoroughly, and I mean thoroughly, going through every single stall. Jodio is in the last stall, in the bathroom, the furthest stall from the door, and Bobby Jean is slowly he comes in, he's firing bullets under the stall. He's changing his clips, his clips, and Jody is in the bathroom. He's panicking. He's like, my heart. He's panicking. Um, and Bobby Jean is just coming, and this is what I love, where you go back and you read chapter 19, and then you come into chapter 20 with all this suspension that's built up in chapter 19. It just fits perfectly together, and the suspense and the tension in this chapter is insane, right? So Bobby Jean is closing in on Joe Dio, right? He's closing in on Joe Dio, and then he starts to pick up on Jodia's stand, which is what Jodia's stand is, November Rain. And he kind of says, like, it's water that, it's pressure like water that pushes against the surface and it can crush bone and even rip, tear muscle apart. So he's figuring out Joe Dio's stand ability. He also knows that it can't fire sideways, it's only down, right? And he figures out the range, that kind of stuff, right? And so he closes in on Joe Dio, and he comes up to Joe Dio's stall. He finally catches it, and he fires the bullet under the stall, which shatters the toilet, and then he opens the door. Joe Dio is in there on the ground, dying, because remember, that girl's bag's groove is also attacking his heart simultaneously. So he's trapped. There's nothing he can really do. He's thoroughly trapped, surrounded by both of them. And Bobby Jean comes up, and Bobby Jean fires at him, and he activates November Rain to block the bullets. Bobby Jean is about to kill him, but then he remembers, the order that uh Howler gave him. Aka Howler gave him, which was that you need to get the lava rock. And so he decides to cut a deal with Jodio, and he tells Jodio that, if you have the lava rock, hand it over, empty your pockets. And this is where this chapter took a turn that I did not see this coming, as God is my witness. And remember, spoiler alert, I mean, if you're still this far, this is where the chapter takes the development that I seriously did not see this coming. And I didn't even think about this or think about something like this happening. But um, so Jodios has been firing off November Rain a lot, and one of the droplets that was stuck from the ceiling falls and hits Bobby Jean in the head, falls directly through his head, and comes down through his gullet and kills him. Like right there, like like it's insane. To be honest, this came out of nowhere. I was like, what the fuck? I was reading this chapter, I was like, what? What to be honest, I really did not see this coming. And Bobby Jean's just dead, just like that. It doesn't seem like Jodio planned it. It wasn't shown in the chapter. It doesn't seem like Jodio planned this. This was something he planned, or this was anything. It just seems like this is something that just happened from coincidence, right? And so, and Yeah, so this came out of nowhere, and I was pretty shocked by this. I thought this fight would have been dragged out a little bit more. But yeah, it seems like this is the end of Glory Days. This is the end of the Glory Days, and we're gonna go into a completely different chapter, or well, not chapter, but like a book chapter of the story going on. This is the end of the hospital section. Yeah, but Lulu Chan was there watching this, and Lulu Chan saw all of this, and she started screaming. She started crying so much that it deactivated her ability, right? And we see all of her stand running towards her, right? They're kind of running towards her, and we even see her stand comforting her. And this actually gets me into an idea of Lulu Chan, or a theory around Lulu Chan, which is that maybe Lulu Chan's ability isn't. This is not how her ability works. The way we've been seeing her ability isn't how her ability works. And it's just that her ability is being exploited for this specific benefit. Because her column, remember, Lulu Chen, she doesn't have a family, and her stand is a colony type stand. And maybe her ability has to do something with the fact that she doesn't have a family and she really wants a family. But Howler or Akka is just exploiting her ability because it was useful in order to protect his deed, right? That's what I'm thinking. That maybe her stand isn't what we've seen. Maybe it's just being exploited to be used this way. But this isn't her real ability. I don't know if that makes sense. But yeah, Jodio comes up to him, and this is where we're seeing that he really is a psychopath. And Jodio says to him, "I don't know what he was to you, but once you're done crying, you're leaving this hospital with us. No ifs, ands, or butts." So, so yeah, Jodio is cold as hell, and then he just walks out of the bathroom and he just left her in there crying over the body of a dead man. He just left this little girl there. This man is cold as ice. Um, yeah, but after that, we see police arriving at the hospital because there were, there's a shootout going on in the hospital, and then we go back. We cut to Paco Lavlantes, Paco, right? And we see Paco in the hospital, waking up from the injuries that he got from Bobby Jean gave him. He's in the hospital, and the nurse and the doctors that were there explained to him everything that happened. They explained that there was a shootout in the hospital, and then you got shot. We found you, and we patched you back together. We managed to heal all your bullet wounds, your bullet wounds, and patch you back together. And and Paco's first question when he woke up is that, hey, I hope you guys didn't cut my clothes off, my boots and my clothes off with that scissors right there, because it cost $2,000. And I don't believe that Paco paid for this because it said that he loves to steal. So yeah, yeah, but apparently Paco has good, like great muscles, pretty strong muscles. Because if it wasn't for his muscles, then he would have died. So yeah, um, we caught up with Dragona and Dragona, Yasugi, and Charming Man. And Yasugi wakes up in the MRI machine, MIR machine, MIR machine, and by Dragona, and Yasugi has a crush on Dragona, and he's freaking out. I didn't know our relationship was like this, and then he sees Charming Man, and he's like, "Oh yeah, what are you doing here?" And this is after Jodio kills Bobby Jean, and Lulu Chan sees it, and she deactivates her ability, and her ability immediately runs to comfort her. This is why I'm thinking that her ability is definitely not what we think it is, right? But anyway, Jodio and Dragona eventually comes into Paco's room, and Paco decides that Paco is, the nurse, they didn't cut off his clothes, they put it in the locker. And while he goes into the locker, he sees a suitcase or a briefcase with a bunch of documents. But Paco doesn't know what it is, so he just leaves it. Jodio and Dragona comes into the room, and they notice they're checking on Paco, make sure he's all right, and they tell him that Howler knows that they're after the deed, and they sent assassins after them, so we gotta go, right? But Jodio notices the briefcase in the in the in the locker where Paco's stuff were, and he picks it up. He walks over and picks it up, and who else does the stuff belong to other than the banker that went to collect the debt that Howler owed the bank. And it had all the information. It had $38 billion worth of debt in it, right? It had phone. It had his phone, his phone paperwork pertaining to the debt. And this is the lava rock at work. And this is lava rock at work. And we get another thing about the lava rock in this chapter, which is that the flow of the lava rock is absolute. The flow. And the flow of the lava rock also goes back to chapter 1 with Jodio, where he talks about mechanisms. And so it seems like everything is starting to, the picture of this part of JoJo Land is starting to take form, right? And Jodio is like, that, and Jodio goes into detail about what exactly is in the briefcase, and what exactly is in the briefcase is the north slope of the Halulia, the island. I'm sorry, I keep forgetting the name of this island. I can't pronounce it. So the north slope of the island, Howler gave the north slope of the island to the bank as collateral damage, because Howler got a $38 billion loan from the bank, and he gave up the north slope of Halulia, the island, to to the bank as collateral. And it seems like, because the congressman, remember the congressman, we see the congressman again. The congressman signed the bill, or whatever it was that he signed it, in order to seize all of Howler's assets. The bank went there to collect their debt before the government could seize all of their assets, right? The bank, so the bank, okay, like I said, there's a lot in this chapter. There's a lot in this chapter. The bank went to collect the debt before the government could seize all of Howler's assets. And Jodio is like, okay, we're gonna collect this debt on behalf of the bank. That's what we're going to do, because we're going to collect the debt on behalf of the bank, because why not? And they decide, and seeing that the banker was there in the hospital, by Paco in the same room, they decide to take the banker with them. And they're like, we're going to take all of it. And we also learned something about Howler, which is that Howler, remember when we see the congressman and his daughter, the congressman explained that Howler has been committing chemical terrorism, war crimes, because it's illegal to use chemical weapons in war. So yeah, Howler has been committing war crimes, or chemical terrorism. I don't know what that means. So again, this chapter's the picture is starting to form, and I'm thinking that next chapter, the picture, we're probably gonna get a full picture of what's going on, or a picture, but it's starting to form. It hasn't fully formed yet, but there's still a bits and pieces of information that we still need, right? We're probably gonna learn what Iraqi means by mechanism, with the flow of the lava rock. The flow of the lava rock is absolute. We're probably gonna find out that. Yeah, so that's JoJo Land chapter 20. Like I said, this chapter is full of information. Like, it's intrigue. Like, this chapter is it's intrigue. That's what I get from it. I want more. I just want to find out more. And the picture of the story is building. Currently, Jodio and the gang, they're about to leave. They're gonna go back to May's place, their boss place, to go and collect the debt. And so we're gonna have to see how that's go. And it seems that Lulu Chen is about to join the gang. And again, her stand ability is pretty interesting. Her stand ability, once again, is pretty intriguing. That maybe her stand isn't what it is. She wants a family. That's what she says. And so we're gonna have to see. We're gonna have to see how all of this turns out. Pretty interesting chapter. Tell me what you guys think. Thought of the chapter down below, and thank you guys for watching. All right, bye bye.